So today we are together with Heidi and Andrew Schrum. And the reason we are here is because Cecilia and I had been doing some talks in Danish and I wrote about them. And Heidi reached out to me and said, "Oh, are you doing some in English at some point? It could be good to ask some questions." And then I thought, why not invite them on a podcast episode? And then we just take all the questions you have right now. So, first of all, a warm welcome. It is nice to see you both.
Nice to see you guys too. We are about to embark on our own traveling journey in about a month. We have 2 kids, 5 and 7, and we've been following you guys for about a year now and really enjoy all the podcasts that you guys put out. And we're also unschoolers, but also just getting to the point where we're getting more questions asked to us about education with our kids, and it has become a little more of a challenge. And so we're just trying to figure out our wording and how to explain our life, and us embarking on this full-time travel. There's lots of questions coming from other people, and since following you guys, it's been a huge inspiration for us. And our first question is, what is some general information you guys could give us, like us just first starting out?
Something that maybe took you 5 years to figure out through your journey, or something you wish you would have thought about before you left, or you learned along the way and you're like, oh, I wish you would have done this differently. Anything like that.
Oh, I have a good one for that. And it is tied a little into the whole older questions. First, I experienced the questions change a little, or what changed a little when we started traveling was this move from, oh, so it's a little weird, you guys are unschooling, what's going on, and you're homeschooling, to how fascinating that you're going on a journey with your kids. We always wanted that ourselves. That changed. First, I was a little mesmerized by it. I was like, but hey, it's the same thing I'm doing. Why is it all of a sudden interesting now? Before you thought it was weird. But I think it is because it is easier for people to say to themselves, I cannot do this. Where sometimes the lifestyle we have led have been a thorn in people's eyes, where they kind of can have felt that our life choices were somehow diminishing what they did with their life. And for us, it haven't been that goal at all. We are not living our life to say to other people, you should live differently. We live our life because we like it. But one thing I wish I could have done differently is that I think I in the start used a lot of time explaining myself, a lot of time not talking down, kind of finding all that was bad with the culture we were in, the society, and saying to people, praising the unschooling choice and the world schooling choice by talking negatively about the schools and choosing to school your kids. Where I today actually try to find a difference between, is it just a polite question? Normally when you meet people, you say, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you're traveling. Oh, that sounds exciting. It is sometimes just small talk and not an invitation to talk for 3 hours. Sometimes I have talked for 3 hours, and part of that was to strengthen my own arguments and thoughts, where today I'm a little more chilled. I would rather hear about other people and talk with them about their thoughts, and than I had to claim unschooling is the best in the world, and if you put your children to school, you shouldn't, etc., etc. And
it's clear. Can I say something?
Please.
It's clear that world schooling is less frowned upon than unschooling. People are very overwhelmed by, oh, that's an adventure, or I wish I could do that. So it changes. And also, if you don't mind that people make up their own ideas about what you're doing, I mean, they can project all sorts of things into the word world schooling, and you don't have to
Mhm.
make them. They don't have to
Mhm.
all understand. For the first, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, even we were unschooling based in Copenhagen, the same city as my in-laws. My mother-in-law, she thought I was sitting at the dining table with the kids 3 hours a day with a belt
Yeah.
and some books, and I didn't correct her. I mean,
Yeah.
why? She was happy, felt safe. I was happy, felt safe. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't lie to her. She never asked. And when she figured out they had been home educated for so long, she realized that they were doing good. So it was just the form was different. So yeah, but I think I'm answering a different question than the one you asked. And the one you asked, I understood as what would you wish you had known, or what have you figured out that could be explained now so we don't have to go make the same mistake. And
Mhm.
I think the main thing is that in preparing for the change from a home-based life to a nomadic life, there's a lot of thought process, and you think about it so much and you imagine what it could be like, and all kinds of things from water bottles to higher education. It's all going on there, and in reality, life changes all the time. You can't know, and I can't know what you need 2 years from now and
Right.
what it will look like for you. You will
Mhm.
have to come up with what most sense all the time. You're freeing yourself from a restriction of having to stay in one place or being dependent on a house, and you're going to have to grow some, you're going to have to be able to hold some insecurity, and you're going to have to solve a lot of problems you didn't see coming. Not
Mhm.
necessarily big and devastating problems, just situations. Okay, that one, I don't know. I mean, and can you prepare? No, you can't prepare for that. You can
Mhm.
prepare for being flexible, being, okay, I'm going to have to solve some problems that I can't imagine right now. Not hard. We've never had like devastating anything. I'm just saying, when it unfolds, everything changes. So I think it's a waste of time to try to prepare so much for it, because your kids will grow and they have personalities, and you will grow and you have personalities, and you will meet people, and you will fall in love with places, and you will hate other places, and you will sometimes book something for 3 months and hate staying there, maybe even leave. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
things that can happen, and
I needed to buy a bus to
I
feel
mean,
secure.
you need to get out of there. You need to get started, and we very much needed to sell that bus again. The bus was I don't know.
It
It wasn't a mistake, but it was a ticket out more than it was a traveling vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's very expensive to get out.
Yeah, but I that's why I say that's what I needed for my security in it. What I've learned during the last 5 years is that's basically what Cecilia is saying. Oh yeah, but the first 5 to 7, oh yeah, we have traveled a long time now. No, what I've learned is that it is really good to have Wi-Fi. I love having the Wi-Fi everywhere. The Starlink is good when it's aligned, but it's also when I look back at how we traveled, then I think, yeah.
Do you remember your big first Wi-Fi solution?
The panic solution where I had 5 different cards with 20 gigabytes.
No. Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
You should
tell your stories. I mean, that's actually a story of preparing in the wrong way.
Yeah,
not knowing what you're venturing into, trying to prepare and just mega failing.
Oh, I mega failed. So I bought a satellite
doing
dish.
It would have been better.
A big satellite that cost
Starlink.
a lot of money. I put it on. I never used it. It cost a lot of money, and when I was ready to put it out, I was thinking about where are we actually as people? Oh, we are where other people are. One thing that is common for where people are is that there's mobile coverage. And if I am a place without mobile coverage, it's because I do not want to work. Only place in all of Europe and Mexico and the States I've had shitty Wi-Fi on the mobile is in UK.
It's overwhelming.
Last summer I bought the Starlink in UK because I couldn't understand why they have so shitty mobile coverage.
Actually,
Now we know.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, England is growing on me. I actually love England. I think they're great over here. Maybe they can even have their great in their name.
Oh yeah.
The covering was really bad. It is really bad over here. It just is. The mobile covering is really bad. In most cases, even in the big cities. It shocks us every time we go here. But the real reason was I was going on and on and on and on and on and on about I wanted to go to Scotland. And because the covering is so bad, even down here, even inside London, Jesper was like panicking. We cannot go up to Scotland. No. That's too risky. There will be no Wi-Fi. It has to take our money. It's fair enough. So it's not for Netflix, it's for work.
Yeah.
So so we bought the Starlink.
Yeah.
After a day, oh man, we can drizzle little stories here. So one day we wake up in a forest and it's really epically beautiful because England actually really is. It's lush and there's this little stream and the soil is nice to walk on with our bare feet. And we've just been on an amazing festival. We're really tired, overwhelmed, happy, grateful. And we're just going to spend the day in this forest, coming down after a big, huge festival.
But I have a meeting.
And Jesper just has a simple call. It's not a big deal. He can work. We can walk a little bit with the dogs. It's nice. Except, there's just shite covering. He cannot work. So we have to leave. He's panicking. We're packing up really quickly. Everything is chaos. When we don't do it nicely in the van, it becomes very, very chaotic. It's not like there's no grad. Either it's good or it's horrible. So it became horrible. And we had to drive real fast because he had this meeting. It was quite important. All meetings are important. If you're having a meeting with another person and you should show up. So anyway, we drive to the nearest city. Happens to be, what's the name of it? It's even a joke in a TV show. Stoke.
Yeah, I think.
And we park at Lidl's parking. And it's just, the vibe there, it's just,
it was terrible.
It can be worse, but it was really bad. And now we're just feeling like, fuck it. And we bought the Starlink the same day.
Yeah, and then we drove to Scotland where it was mountains and waterfalls, and I had top Wi-Fi, and I was just so happy.
Were the happiest. No, but really, it was that having to leave that forest that day was just.
No, but to sum it up, because we talk a lot even on just one question, sorry, but it is that you can think so much before. You can be so afraid. You can have so many insecurities about what will happen. It's just life. It will be okay. If you have a credit card, you will be fine. Mobile phone and a credit card.
Oh, but really, solve the problems when they are actually there. I think that's one big takeaway. We prepared a lot for a lot of things. We've been thinking a lot, and it's not like we were prepped at all. But it's actually been a lot of the preparations has just been in vain. Like that was just not the way to do it, and we couldn't have known because. It's quite different to live nomadically. It's quite different from living a stable life in one location, and it's different from being on vacation, even a longer one, like a gap year backpack, whatever something. It's different when it becomes just your reality. And that different reality has all sorts of different settings, and we change, our needs change, our dreams change, our kids change. And so I feel it's more like the preparation might be more down the lines of how much insecurity can we hold? How do we make sure we talk about things before we panic? How do we make sure we get some, you're going to hate me for saying this. So this is one we haven't solved.
Some good way.
How do we get pauses?
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Do we get what?
Some pauses.
Time
so
to work.
Stop and think and feel, am I panic buying this Starlink thing because I'm having one bad day in Stoke or actually needing it? So with this, we knew it because we had been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think the next question, it kind of continues on, but one of our older son, who's 7, is not interested in this journey. Our younger son, who's 5, he's he's a big extrovert, happy to do whatever, make friends in a heartbeat. And we're kind of, we're both in that mindset as well. Heidi and I of ready to experience anything and everything.
But our 7-year-old is basically refusing to go.
Yeah.
And so we are just kind of ignoring it and just kind of proceeding as we go. And he's one to be set in his ways anyway. So we're looking at this opportunity as like a really good thing for him, and to like really grow on this, being more flexible, but also being mindful of his personality. But that's been like one big question mark for us, is like just the resistance, and we're not really sure how to navigate it and just go forward with it.
And we've done a couple of trips. We did a 3-4 week trip to Guatemala, and we did a 5-week trip to Mexico to kind of test the waters, and they did great, right? Like they adapted and they got along. So we know that is likely going to happen, and it's all going to be fine. But that the lead up to it is still challenging to, every time we mention it, I'm not going,
No, of course, but there is, yeah. So it can be difficult how we as adults talk about these things with our kids, because if we are saying we will travel for a long time, or we will sell our house or whatever, it's their world. They have a shorter perspective than us.
Yeah.
So I would always see if I can not downplay it, not to cheat them in any way, but also to not scare them. I also believe there's no big reason to talk a lot about death with kids. It's the same. Let them be in their moment and in the focus. And if it's really, really terrible for him, then it's also not a good life for you. And then you will figure out to change your circumstances to make it a good life for everyone. The good recommendations is more ice cream, more cake, more fun, but also to focus on what he will get more of and not what he will get less of. Sometimes when we talk with our kids about these changes, we use an adult perspective that is just like, oh, please understand, it will be so cool for you. And it's like, no, not in my mind. I will move from my friends, from my house, from my things. Then just take it step by step. We had a little restriction from one of our kids in the start, and he was also young. And sometimes we need to take care how we talk.
I think at least for us, it was a big matrix of values and ideas leading up to choosing to travel full time, and we knew that there would be benefits and there would be pain. There would be both for all of us.
Right.
And at the end, we decided it's going to be worth it. We've been doing our best to make them feel safe and feel seen and feel happy, and we've done good and we've failed. In both. And I think it would have been the same had we lived in one place. There would have been great elements of that, and there would have been downsides, and that would have been a different way of failing. We chose this one, and we had one who really protested as well, and we had to tell him, I'm sorry, I know it's not right for you, but as a collective, there is more right than wrong in this, and we're going. You're a child, you have to come.
Yeah.
And there was protest, but at the end of the day, we were the adults. We made the decision, and we did promise we'll do our very best to make sure that you get what you need in your life, and we'll see how it goes. And it's different now. It's been more than half of his life, so it's different now.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't an easy choice to make.
Yeah.
It was not. But once it was made, it was, then you just move forward. You're like, yeah, I hear you. I hear your approach. I know it's not right for you.
Mm.
As unschoolers, it's hard to make a choice against what your child wants, because that's not the modus. That's not what you usually do. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
We're lagging again.
Shoot, we lost you. Maybe we go into some of that unschooling stuff. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Let me
Okay.
give. Oh, I know it. Not going on this
I
one.
mean,
We
we
will
should
just
just
go
go on a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
and
we will
then
go
we'll
on
not
and
be
see
the
how it
longest
goes.
thing.
I think that how did your child like change over time? Like how long did the protests last, or what changes did you see, or how did that go?
But we're talking about more than half of the life of someone who's now 13, you know.
Yeah.
Well, how did that change? A lot of things change from your 6 to your 13.
Yeah.
Thing. And how much has to do with where we live or where we don't live, and how much has to do with, you know, growing up. It's a lot of things.
Right.
We talked a lot about it. We talked about it today again. We've done a lot of different things, and sometimes can still be some frustration, and sometimes it's been, I remember a lot of conversations on beaches. Like, you know, had we stayed, you wouldn't have been at the beach today.
Yeah.
We live in a country where there are like 9 beach days a year. And well, we used to live in a country that's very cold. So, and all the things added up that we have experienced together that we wouldn't have had we not traveled.
Right.
Child is growing and realizes that it's not been like me with my index finger at the beach saying, I told you so. It's just been more like an all around, you know. We've been on the beach every day for the past month, and this is November, you know. Back home, people are wearing woolen socks and they're all down with the flu. And here you are swimming with your siblings. This is fun, right? And then there could be a conversation. Yeah, but still, you know, and then there can be another from our side. Yeah, but this is, you know, this is the math. It adds up. It's better. We're paying something for this, but at the end of the day, this is the life we do want on an everyday basis.
That's a big choice.
Well, but it doesn't look like it.
No,
it
but
looks
it is
like,
a
you know, you
really
just
big
press
choice.
repeat every morning. So, but that's a choice too. And with full-time traveling, you're making choices all the time. I don't even know where I'm sleeping tonight. I mean, it is
You'll figure it out.
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
We're
a problem.
used to it.
I'm just saying, I have to make choices all the time. I have to make plans. I have to adapt. I have to come up with a new plan. And people who live more in a mainstream way, I'm trying to say this with all the respect, but they don't have to make these choices. They don't realize they're making a choice, but they are making a choice. They're sacrificing a lot of things to have that comfort and stability and routine kind of life. And I hope that that's what they want.
I mean, the amount of sunsets I've seen together with my family, the amounts of waterfalls, the hikes, the days on beaches, the beauty
and the people.
I have lived. I'm 50 now, and I'm like, in the last 7 years, I have lived so much more intensely. Sorry, I was try over.
No. Everybody understood it.
Yeah.
Like when you take the letters of a word and you scramble them, and
you can still read.
It's the same. Yeah.
No, but I mean, the amount of hours and time I've gotten together with my children in this different way of living. I don't know, Andrew, if you already work from home or you have changed it. But imagine being at the beach. I mean, I've had days where I had
tired of the beach.
Yeah, you can get really tired of sand everywhere. But having a meeting and then after the meeting being like, oh, I think I will run down and jump in the water together with my kids. Oh my God, the experiences, the joys we have had. Sometimes what I long for now is the peace and quiet, because my everyday life is it will not happen.
It's not happening.
No.
It's okay. You can dream.
Yeah. No, and one
You
thing,
just have peace and quiet while I did that long walk with everyone.
but
Like 3 or 4 hours.
I did a really good project I really wanted, and I'm not finished with it. I will do more. Yeah. So no, sorry. Yeah. So that's it. But hit us with more questions.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll just probe you a little bit on your work and how much do you work? And I guess the question kind of stems around, I've been working my whole adult life, and I just put in my notice, and I'm gonna free the mind for a little bit. But I've been in busy mind mode for a decade or more, and I work in marketing as well. So I've been getting constantly pinged all day for 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm about to be free of that, which is very exciting. But also, I'm a little worried about, like, where's my mind going to go? But I know that I'm going to find this great thing. I'm going to find whatever I want to do next. I'm going to spend more time with my kids.
Don't do that. Find a project.
It would drive Jesper insane. That doesn't mean it would drive you insane.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, Jesper.
So there's
Watch it there.
yeah, I will watch it. No. So there's this
It's
fun.
like I can't stand still.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to tie me to a sofa.
Yeah.
Jesper cannot not have projects.
No,
He just can't do
my
it.
mind's
And he comes up with another one and another, and they're like these monstrous, huge things. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And, it's fine. That's how you function.
Yes.
But everyone are not like you.
No, but I will say about going out of that mindset, the busy mindset. Oh my God, it's difficult. I'm not sure I plan to.
I'm not sure you've ever done it, have you?
I've tried for a year at some point where I worked a little. No.
Oh, back then. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember.
So my experience is I actually got depressed.
Yeah. Literally had a crisis.
Yeah, because my personality, my everyday for 30 years or something had been both my identity, someone who works and do work thing and get money, and identify the money thing with a pat on the shoulder that is like, hey, yes, but you're really good. And the great thing about a project is you can finish a part of a task and then you can give yourself 2 thumbs up. And if you get money on top, it's even better. But playing a game with your children, nobody gives you money or something. So there's something in my mindset that had really difficulties where I'm way better at just like ticking boxes and saying, oh, yes, but you're doing great, than relaxing in the presence. So what I've done is that one of the best thing I've done is something my wonderful wife have been doing for years, and I've met more women than men doing it. It's knitting. I tried. I was really shit at it, but I've started carving spoons, and I really love it. And I've started also taking in a music instrument. So if you plan to tone down your amount of work, I'm like, get a hobby, because you have been in a mode of learning and being in this project phase where you tick stuff off. And if you, so detox for that, or like a cold turkey on that, is unhealthy. I cannot recommend it. I would rather change it out with something that you can do together, play music, have fun. And actually, one of the best thing I've done is the wood carving. I make spoons, and people ask me if I should do other than spoons, and I'm like, you're crazy. I like spoons, and they are good. It's a good thing to spoon. Yeah.
And they make presents because we don't need more than the 50 spoons we already have.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't
That's
know.
great.
Yeah.
No, so be afraid and accept that it is a big
Maybe
change.
just beware
Yeah.
and notice who you are. You're not necessarily like Jesper.
No.
You might enjoy it.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Cool.
If you feel like you need something to feel important, you can have my 565 emails
Yeah.
that I have.
Right. Yeah. I hope that I'm sincerely not going to miss the emails, but I'm sure that, who knows?
This is a different question off that topic, but how do you guys go about with screens, and how have you approached gaming and just the whole screen thing in general?
We have tried all the different ways. We have changed our mind on it multiple times. If you have heard some of our earlier podcasts, then one of the things, a quote, is a woman called Darcia Naves, who talked about, more nature tribes where people have seen them letting the kids play with the weapons, with the bow and arrow and everything. And then they were asked, so why are you letting them play with the weapons? And they said, oh, of course they need to know, because this will be their future work. So of course they need to be able to handle it. But we do not let them play with the poisoned arrows. Comes for later. So what I took out of that is asking myself, so what is the poisoned arrows of the screens? That is a question about, am I in dialogue with my children? Do I interest myself in what they're doing? Am I sharing the experience with them? Do I actually give them a screen sometimes to pacify them? I have done that. I've been like, oh, Dad want to make food without being interrupted. And I don't have the presence of mind to be there when they, and I mean, the mess a 5-year-old can make and all these things. Sometimes I've just been like, oh, here's the iPad. Am I proud of that? No. Is it normal? Yes. Do I recommend it? Depending on where you are in your life. Back then, for me, at that point, it was the right thing. It
I was not.
It was what I had the mind and presence of doing. I would wish I had more presence of mind, but I didn't.
We have done all the different things. We've had rules, we've had no rules, we've had conversations. I'm actually currently, I don't know, you said you heard the podcast. Are you reading the blog as well? I think the last things I wrote was about screens and that whole conversation, because I think everybody talk about it all the time, and there's a lot of worry around the parents, and there's a lot of blame and shame going on in the relation with the kids. And I don't know. I mean, I think what I mostly see is that it's been great what the screens are contributing with. It's a very narrow-minded thing to, like, not narrow-minded, but very putting a lot of things in the same bucket when you say the screen. And and that's we have to deconstruct that. We have to talk about it in a more nuanced way. But in general, what I see is we've had so much conflict around this, and it's not been worth it. And we've had so much worry, and there was actually nothing to worry about. We've had so many unnecessary problems. And then we've had a few things that we actually had to change. And I think stopping to think about that a little bit first, and to have some leveled, actual conversations with the children. Also, if you're worried, that's fair. You have a nightmare, you're afraid, you wake up in the night, you're afraid. It's an emotion. It's all right. If you're worried, it's okay to be worried, actually. And there's a lot of the whole mainstream conversation about it. It's a lot of, they become addicted and all these things, it goes on and on and on. And actually what they're doing, it's quite entertaining. It's quite fun. It's quite exploring. It's they what I see them do with their explorations is it's quite intelligent, actually. When I hear their conversations about their games, I can hardly understand it, but I can hear that there's a lot of brain power going on behind the scenes here. A lot of strategy, I can come up with some sort of words that could legitimize it and sound like education, or sound like, I don't know, like it's speaking education-ese around it. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying to be bored. No one, and it's children and adults alike. We don't like to be bored. So when we do something, it's not boring. Otherwise, we do something else.
Mhm.
And this means these games and movies and shows and YouTube channels and all the things, all the chatting with friends. What else do they do? I don't know. All the things. There must be something in it, because why would they do it? I have a child who, when she was, I want to say 2 years, but maybe she was 3 actually, she would watch the same movie, How to Train Your Dragon, every day for 4 months.
Wow.
I mean, I would have to leave the room sometimes, because I was like, she would watch that movie and jump in the sofa. And I don't know why that movie had to be played more than 100 times before she had absorbed everything she needed from it.
Mhm.
Maybe I could come up with, but it's not relevant right now. I'm just saying there must have been something in it. Also, when she first played time number 112. Otherwise, she would have done something else. She's smart. She had a lot of options. And yet there was just, I need my daily How to Train my dragon.
Yeah.
And jumping in the sofa.
Yeah.
So she did that. And I think, yes, so that's one side. Basically chill. The other side is, it's more like on a more abstract and deconstructed way we can think about. So are there any poisonous arrows here? Is there anything that's actually unhealthy? Anything that's actually too overwhelming or intruding? There's no doubt that the algorithms and all the extensive psychological research that is behind some of the ways things are presented to us, it's impossible to not succumb to it, to the fascination. And maybe that's not how we want to spend our time, or maybe that's not how we want to spend our time right now, but it can be very hard to stop. So that would be the poisonous arrow kind of thing. Do you have any interactions with things that are can spiral out of control, and how do we navigate it? That's one thing I think is important. And then the other element is some sort of life design kind of thought process. So how do I want my life to look? What circles, what elements? Do I get a lot of stories from the screen? And do I like getting stories? But do I also get the exercise? Do I also get the conversations? Do I also get the music? Do I also get the shared meals? So all the elements that I want, are they all actually present? And if they are not, if something's out of balance, if you're having a big, elaborate 7-course shared meal 3 times a day, maybe you're slightly overdoing it. That would take you 9 hours of cooking and 3 hours of cleaning, and you're never doing anything but that. So even if it sounds amazing, actually it isn't. And in the same way, the screen again, I'm putting too many things in the same bucket, but that's the only way to talk about it in a short way. But that, of course, the life balance, life design conversation can be held. Are we gaming at 3 a.m. and we still think we're getting up at that 7 o'clock sunrise hike? Does that make sense? And we're maybe 9. Do we need more than 5 hours of sleep? I mean, there are things like that, and that's leveled, respectful conversations, not strict rules and judgment.
I have one point also, which is one of the biggest problems I see with screens is the judgment that we parents put on it. And what I often see, we do never question the screens when we are using time together with our children on the screens. It's most often and let me be a little provocative here, it's most often I do not want to be together with my kids right now. I would prefer they did something I would vote as intellectual. If they were sitting and playing chess, I would be a proud unschooling dad. But if they're sitting with a screen, while I do not want to be together with them.
Maybe even playing chess.
Maybe even playing chess with them. then I can judge the value of what they're doing. I can look down at it. Where my question is just, so if you think your child is using too much time on a screen, maybe you should spend more time together with your child.
Yeah.
That's of course it's a
Yeah.
little rough.
Yeah.
I know it, but I do not see people judge what their children are doing on the screen when they are doing it together with them.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
just being more together, and if you do not want to be together with them, maybe they should be free under the what you can live with in your life of what they are doing and seeing on the screens.
No, but also, as I said in the beginning, if you're actually worried, just speak that worry instead of speaking a judgment or throwing
Yeah.
out a rule. Just say, this worries me. I'm really trying to be really unschooly and really free and open around these things because I've made so many mistakes. I'm sorry. I can say it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But sometimes I even say to, not that, but they're quite old, our kids now, so not so much any longer. But I have said, I know that this is wrong, that this is not my philosophy, that it's not your freedom, and it's not objectively right. But right now it makes me feel so uncomfortable. I need us to unplug things now for a few hours and do something else. The point just being you're actually the parent, you are the adult.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say stop. It's just your reasoning around it. Sometimes if it's
Right.
actually just worry and there's no good reason other than that, maybe that could be the sole argument. I'm sorry, but I'm from a different generation. I don't understand these things and it makes me uncomfortable. And today I can't handle it. Can we please unplug for a while? I need us to do something else. It's about me. There's nothing wrong with your games. There's nothing wrong with you. Please, can we go on a hike? And actually, kids can cooperate and will want to cooperate. If
Yeah.
it's like, if you
Yeah.
don't use it
Yeah.
9 times a day, that would be unfair.
Kind of more on the unschooling bit is when we're thinking about like what we want to do with our days, just like right now in like regular life, and we're kind of struggling with exposing our kids to new things versus them saying like, I don't want to do that. So we're kind of like, okay, should we just like go and like see this play and just be like, okay, we're gonna go see this play and let's see if they like it or not. Because a lot of times when we do things, they're like, oh, this is so fun. But I guess more of my question around is like exposing kids versus following their interests, and I guess doing both. But like, how have you navigated that throughout the years?
I think there's a danger in unschooling where people forget themselves and let children be in the lead. The parents are the parents, the parents are the caretakers, the parents are moving in a direction, and of course you are respecting your children and what they want and like, but a child shouldn't be in charge of a family. They're too young.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes unschooling can be in a way where people, instead of seeing it as self-motivated, that there is a venture forward energy in the child and you follow along with that they sometimes let the child be in the lead and be like, oh, so what do you want to do today? And the question is it the child who should figure out these things? Isn't it maybe a quite big load of responsibility to put on a child that is 5 years old or 7? I mean, that's not fair either.
Right.
I think the whole exposure idea, and it might not be what you mean, but when in the unschooling community, we talk about exposing our children to things.
Yeah.
I think it's a reminiscence from the idea of schooling. And now that we're not schooling them, we need to expose them to things. That's like, then that becomes our responsibility. And when when I think about how life unfolds, I'm pretty sure most people will be attracted to the things they need in their life. So I'm sure my daughter was watching that movie all the time because she's actually really, really passionate about dogs. And her whole thing is that she's very special around that. And that movie is about connecting with beings of another gene pool. And I think that was the reason. So she's attracted to that, and that will become her career. And that's the whole thing. And I think everyone actually will figure out what they are attracted, what makes sense for them in life, what's important. And we're all different. We all have different interests and different passions, and you can't know, and you don't need to take your kids and put them in 2,000 different contexts during their childhood, because then only then will they find the one of them that's right. They will find it. They will find it for sure. You can keep them at home. You can just just dinner, it's not important. They will figure it out. They're very, very young right now. They will figure it out. So that's one thing. This whole exposure idea becomes a little bit like setting the scene. Like you should go do things you think are fun to do.
Yeah.
Do things you feel like doing. And if you don't feel like doing them, don't do them, except if you feel like you have to for some reason. Like the good old doing the dishes argument, You feel like eating from a clean plate next time, so you do the dishes now. So, of course, there are things like that. But really, I mean, exposure, I think it's bullshit. And especially in these years, we all have the internet in our back pocket. So if you ask a question about snails, you can answer it right away. You don't need to do a lot of exposure. You just need to be together and follow your interests and feel your heartbeat and feel all this. I'd really like to know more about that. And usually it doesn't feel like education. It doesn't feel like I want to learn. It's more like, I wonder, tell me more. And it becomes this conversation. Unschooling is a conversation style.
That takes 18, 20, 25 years. Yeah.
So that's the one thing. And then the other part of the answer, I think, is we've always been looking for common ground, like for shared interests, for what do we really like to do together. We're very good at going for long hikes. We really like becoming really, really tired and thirsty together. It unwinds everything. Everybody gets to talk with everyone. And it's so nice to do. So that, and not everyone loves that. I know someone who lives in Norway and they just don't like skiing. And it's just too bad, because it's actually a really good option if you live there. But none of them like it. So they don't do it, which is fair. You think everyone in Norway goes skiing all the time. Actually, they don't. So find whatever works. And we do it like we have a few things we like to do, all of us. And then we have, with all of our kids, we have so there's this thing I like to do with this daughter. And then there's that thing I like to do with that son. And we find these things, and I like doing it. I'm not doing it for exposure or education or any other strategic reason. I do it because I like doing it. It makes me happy. Right. But that is exposure. I mean, if you want to have that mindset, that is, the reason we're pilgriming Shakespeare today. I mean, it's because there's something we like doing together. So,
we are trying to round this episode up, and we would really like to take another chat with you. Before we say a proper goodbye, I want to say what one of our good friends said to us before we started traveling. She said, beware of the 6-7 month crisis. Because
6 months crisis.
Many people, you go into this, it's adventure, it's all new, and you have so much, wow, stuff is happening. But after stuff has happened for some time, you get down to there's also the everyday life, and it's not fun all the time.
You actually have to cut your fingernails.
But then you forget that life in one place where you have one circle where you live your everyday life, that's not always fun either. So don't think that life will be all glamorous for the rest of the time you're traveling. There's good days and there's bad days, and many have a crisis around half a year, because then it becomes everyday life and it's not so fantastic anymore.
Maybe you're
But-
so tired at that point.
Yeah.
You run pretty fast, and
But
that's
it-
when I said we've had some pauses.
We have
At
had
least
pauses.
some afternoons
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
beaches where we didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
So remember the pauses, remember to have fun, and the world is really, really a wonderful place to hang out. Andrew and Heidi, thank you for taking the time to ask us these questions. And sorry we talk so much. When
That was the point, though.
yeah, I look forward to hearing more questions. So let's find a new time and date. We'll just do it on email. And have you already created an Instagram for your friends to follow you? And if, then share it with us, then we can put it in the show notes so people can follow along.
Yeah, that sounds great. We're kind of waiting till out of work to think through all of that and get the right thing going, whether it's a blog or just social or whatever. But this has been awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time, and
It really has.
we'll
Yeah.
continue to follow you.
Yes,
Of
thank you
course.
so much.
So we'll talk again.
And we will
Let's
talk again.
It was fun.
It was
Sounds
a big
great.
question. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
And then